Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us for this month's Community Corner. I am Hallie Donner. I'm the Executive Director of Alumni Theater Company, and we are lucky enough to be here with Denise from Gwen's Girls. Hi, Denise.
Hello.
We're so happy to have you, and we're so happy that this month's Community Corner is featuring Gwen's Girls because we love Gwen's Girls.
And we love you too.
We have just enjoyed working with you guys so much in the past, and maybe we'll chat about that in a little bit. But if you could introduce yourself and tell everybody what you do with Gwen's Girls, that would be great.
Sure. So my name is Denise McGill Delaney. I'm the Chief of Staff at Gwen's Girls currently. I was hired as one of the first employees, so I've been here the longest at Gwen's Girls. I was hired in 2002, the year we were founded.
Okay. That's a long time. That's almost 20 years.
Yes.
It's about to be 20 years. And so you are the longest standing employee?
Yes.
That's quite a title. I appreciate that. I think that is says a lot about a person and says a lot about the organization too, for sure.
I'm a dinosaur in the work years. People don't do this anymore.
That is for sure. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. And you told us when Gwen's Girls was founded in 2002. Can you tell us a little bit about the history of the founding and like how and why?
Sure. So the organization was founded by Gwendolyn J. Elliott. She was one of many firsts in the city of Pittsburgh. She was hired as one of the first Black female police officers, rose through the ranks, and retired as one of the first Black female police commanders. And during her work on law enforcement, she noticed that a lot of young girls and women would come to law enforcement or social service agencies due to social issues or lack of resources. So she wanted to develop an organization that would support girls and young women to reach their fullest potential. As our tagline says, inspire new destinies for them. And for them to do whatever it is that they wanted to do. So we provide programming that provides that social emotional learning for girls. We expose them to a variety of different areas like STEM, the arts, and different things like that, and give them a variety of resources so they can reach their fullest potential, whatever that means for each girl.
That's wonderful. What a blessing you are to our community. And what a great founding story as well.
Right.
I know Kathy Elliott, Gwendolyn's daughter, very well, and she has been so proud to carry on her mother's legacy.
Yes.
Did you say the mission of Gwen's Girls in what you just said?
No, I didn't. I'm sorry. Our mission is to empower girls and young women to have productive lives through holistic, gender-specific programs, education, and experiences.
Got it.
That's our actual mission. And like I said, it's just really to support girls in whatever it is. We know that previously a lot of programming models were based on boys models. So when Miss Gwen founded Gwen's Girls, she wanted to make sure it came from a gender specific perspective that focused on the needs of girls, because we know girls are more relational than boys. And so a lot of programs previously were based upon that strict behavior management, sports and things like that. So Gwen's Girls focus more on that relational aspect that a lot of girls and young women need, and then supporting them through, as opposed to a strict punishment type model.
That's wonderful. That's something that people don't really think a lot about, even those of us who work in after school programming. Right. You don't necessarily think about how so many of the models are rooted in what was right for boys. Mm-hmm. So that is really very interesting and so beneficial that that's the outlook that you guys take. That's wonderful.
Right. Thank you.
So tell us a little bit more about just some of the programming you offer. How many centers do you have?
So we have an after-school program, and we offer our after-school program at 3 sites. We have a site here on the north side, we have a site in Clairton, and we have a site on the east end in Wilkinsburg. And so for that program, we work with girls between the ages of 8 and 12, 13 years of age, that elementary to middle school age girls. And pre-COVID, they would come to our site 4 days a week. And like I said, that's when we would provide that homework support, that social emotional learning, exposing them to different things. We also provide a meal for them. And then we have our program for our high school age girls called BAGALA, which stands for Black Girls Advocacy Leadership Alliance. in which they go on a college campus at least 1 or 2 days a week. And they focus on more of those issues that address older girls. So job readiness. They look at how the disproportionality of Black girls in terms of the school system is affecting their interactions within the school system. They look at parentification and what does that mean, how a lot of Black girls are seen as older women as opposed to teenagers, and how that affects their growth and development as a whole. So they look at those older issues and topics that affect Black girls and girls of color in the high school age area.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like you're doing a lot to teach these girls to advocate for themselves appropriately,
Exactly.
which is really important. Have you guys had to advocate personally for some of these girls in their schools?
Most definitely. We had one experience where a girl, we know sometimes the communities that our girls reside in are not safe. And so she had carried a can of mace for her when she was out because she worked. So when she was out in the community, she could be safe. And when she got to school, she let them know that she had a can of mace. And so she wouldn't get in trouble, but they still suspended her. And so while we understand the importance of a zero tolerance policy, but the zero tolerance policies are not necessarily benefiting our youth in some of their communities. So we had to work with the school and advocate on her behalf to not have that long hold suspension or expulsion that she was possibly looking at for having a quote unquote weapon, that she just needed to be safe in the community, and she was upfront about in the beginning. So those are some of the issues that we have to advocate for, as well as looking at areas of academic growth. Some of our kids not getting the support that they need in school, so making sure they're in their appropriate grade level and different things like that we advocate for our girls as well.
That's wonderful. And I hope that you have seen in your almost 20 years at Gwen's Girls a difference in the way some of the girls are being treated within their schools. Do you feel like you have?
There has been some changes, some good, some not so good. So it just really depends on the situation and what school district you're referring to.
Right.
I still think we have a long way to go. We know that Pittsburgh Public Schools is one of the highest districts that suspends Black girls and girls of color and send them to the juvenile justice system. So that's one of the areas within the Black Girls Equity Alliance that we're focusing on to try to reduce that school to prison pipeline.
About how many girls do you have in the program?
So each site has about 30 girls at each site. That was pre-COVID. So we still have that many, but sometimes, of course, we can't bring all that number of girls on site at any given time. So we have been doing a hybrid model where some kids come on site and some kids are just virtual. So we work between 90 and 100 kids any given time. We are more, I would say, not like your traditional after school program, because we do service plans with the girls. So we're more involved in their everyday life. We're not like a drop-in center. So kids have to enroll in our program when we work with them and their families to meet their needs on whatever that is.
When you say service plan, what do you mean by that?
So like a goal plan, our program is based on 10 life domains, and we focus on 4 core ones, and they are education, health and wellness, family life, and life skills. And so we'll meet with the family within those 4 domains and see what areas do they need support in, and then we'll develop goals with the girl and their family to meet those needs, to make sure that they're self-sufficient in those areas.
That's really great. We're super big on goal setting at ATC. That's a huge part of what we do. And that sounds like it's so helpful not only to the girls, but also their families, which is so important also.
Definitely. And more recently, we just received funding to offer, in terms of the programs that we have, we also do community-based programming in which we go into the schools and we teach our Making Positive Life Choices curriculum, which looks at like healthy relationships, self-esteem, what does it mean to be a girl? And so we're invited into different schools to work with girls. And then more recently, we received funding to do a mentoring program, which is a diversion program for kids who are involved in juvenile justice. And so they don't stay in that system. We provide the mentoring service, and if they complete our programming, their violation will not go on their record and they can possibly not be involved in juvenile probation. So that's our mentoring program. And then we also have the commercial sexual exploitation of children, which is CSEC, is a program that we just started in which we're providing education to people about CSEC and providing supportive services for young women who have been involved in CSEC.
You're really out there. You guys are really affecting a lot of lives, which is wonderful. So it's not only the 100 girls that you have coming to your programs, you're getting out there into the schools, and that's really great. I'm so glad that people, that different systems are seeing the value that you guys have to offer them and hiring you to come in and do that work. That's really great. So how young, what's the youngest that a girl can come into Gwen's Girls?
So we work with ages 8. So 8 is the youngest that we work with, and we go up to 18 in our after school program, but with these new initiatives, we'll probably go up to about 21 to 24 age range.
Gotcha. How many, do you have any kids who stay from 8 all the way through?
Yes, we've had quite a few girls who are in our after school program who have been with us for years. They're like extended family, because we've seen them grow up. Even for the girls who have graduated, we still see them out in the community. My coworker just told me today she saw one of our girls that used to attend our program working in the community and doing well. So we're glad to see that. We work with so many kids over the years. So.
Yeah, that must be so rewarding for you, who's been there for all of those years.
Yes.
To see these young ladies grow up and start to see some success out there, which is
definitely,
that's really wonderful. So we've said the term pre-COVID multiple times during this interview. So tell me about you said you're doing hybrid. Mm-hmm. They come to you during the day to do some of their academic classes now?
So we also have a new initiative that we started when COVID came out, was our tutoring initiative, which is the academic support initiative. And so with that program, that's the program that we work with all kids in Allegheny County, boys and girls. And we provide tutoring services free of charge to the families to receive that academic support. So in that program, some kids come during the day. Most kids come during that after school time period for that support. And for our girls in our after school program, we do the virtual type groups in after school time. So after school, about 3-ish, 3:30 time frame. And so with that program, when COVID hit, we had to figure out how can we still support our families because we knew they needed us. Mm-hmm. And so that's when Dr. Kathy came up with the initiative for the academic support. And then the staff rallied together to figure out how to provide group activities in a virtual environment. And so we quickly pivoted without much break to provide that opportunity for our girls in a virtual environment.
Yeah, I mean, your program is so important to the girls who are there every day to all of a sudden not have that.
Right.
It can't, you couldn't let that happen. So
exactly. And the socialization that the kids are missing from being involved, it allows them to still see their friends. Although it's virtual, they still get to see their friends and have some interaction.
Yeah. This has been so hard on these young people. And it's starting to, all of the way that this has all progressed is still revealing itself day by day. But the implications, the long-term implications about just the way the world has changed, all of those things are starting to dawn on me every day.
Yes.
They will just wear masks for probably the next 5 years, and I don't know if it's 5 years, but it's like just
right.
like that we've had to get used to. I see them. We had a group in here, just a small group, for rehearsal yesterday for the first time in a long time. I didn't have to tell anybody anything about their masks. That's just normal. You just have the mask on, and that's just the way it's going to be. And just all of the
become normalized.
Yeah, and all so many things that we do virtually now. That's just going to be the way that it is. They're just kind of this crash course of like new generation. Here's what you're doing.
And unfortunately, like you said, what is going to be the long-term implication for that, for the kids who have not been able to have that interaction? You know, once we get back to the new normal, what does that mean for them to be able to interact with people in their environment? So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out in the long run, because we know, even me as an adult, some days I'm like, if I'm on another Zoom call, I'm going to lose my mind, you know? And so just keeping that in mind when we're working with the youth, we have to try to do fun activities through Zoom, because they were just in school all day on Zoom, and now to come to us in the after school time frame, we had to learn to do different things that were interactive, so that it doesn't seem like it's an extension to the school day.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's hard to interest them in more Zoom. You have to be very, very creative.
Yes.
But the opportunity to be together with each other tends to be enough of a draw to get them to keep on coming. So can you tell us about how young people can get involved with Gwen's Girls? Young girls can get involved if they would like to?
Yeah, so if anyone is interested in participating in our after school program or our the gala or teen program, they can reach out to us at 412-904-4239 and just leave a message, because there's not anyone at the office, but someone will be back in contact with them to set up an intake and appointment to get them enrolled in the program.
And so anybody who is interested, who goes through the steps of the intake program, is welcome to participate?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Great.
And so basically when we'll do like a pre-screening if there's certain things that may, for our after school sites, when we were in person, you had to live within a 3-mile radius of the site to be able to participate. But now that we're in a virtual environment, it's a little bit different. We definitely, loosened that rule some. So you would just call and see if you would qualify for the program. And if not, they'll refer you to another program or service that would be beneficial.
Got it. That's great. And I really encourage anybody who's watching to spread the word about this. These kids, in everything that we're all going through, a program like Gwen's Girls can really make even more of an impact. So I hope that more girls will continue to get involved. And can you tell us how those of us who aren't of the age to be part of Gwen's Girls, how can we support?
Yes. So frequently our families sometimes need different things. So donations is always a way you can support. Whether we, through the COVID time, we have been given like our family's baskets quarterly. Our board was able to raise money for us to provide care packages for our families. So we've been providing care packages, which included like necessities, food, detergent, different things like that, as well as activities for the parents and the children. So that's always a plus. We have the Black Girls Equity Alliance, which is a group of people, lay people, everyday people, social service agencies that come together and look at the areas of health and wellness, juvenile justice, child welfare, and education. And they have monthly work group meetings in which they're looking at the disproportionality of Black girls in those systems. And so people can join those work groups and just talk about your experience and how you can support the work that's being done for all kids, not just girls and Gwen's Girls. And previously we had volunteers, but it's kind of hard to have volunteers during COVID, but we're always looking for volunteers once we're open back up.
Great. And I'm sure I see gwensgirls.org is right behind you, so we can always go there to look at some more information about that. And I hope that people will get involved with Gwen's Girls. They are really wonderful. We didn't talk about our collaboration, but ATC has worked with Gwen's Girls over the past couple years to create a performance during Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. And it's just been such a pleasure to get to know some of the staff and the girls and to have them here in the theater. And I can't wait. It would have been happening probably last weekend would have been the date. So we hope next February we'll be back to it. I really, really hope. Fingers crossed.
Fingers definitely crossed, because it is a wonderful partnership that we have with your organization.
Yep, and I think that there's other ways we can partner as well. We had been starting to talk about it when COVID hit, so we'll get back to it for sure.
Definitely.
Thank you so much, Denise. Any last words before we end it?
No, thank you so much. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to contact us on our website, which is www.gwensgirls.org. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time telling us about your organization, and we look forward to working with you in the future for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Denise.